I read 10 books in December. I ended off the year reading so many amazing books. I cannot wait to tell you guys about these. So let's get into them. Okay, starting off with the Paris novel by Ruth Reichl. I'm so excited about this book because one, it got me out of my reading slump, and two, it takes place in Paris, which is, I have to say, probably my favorite city ever, and three, it's underrated. I've never heard anybody talk about it. The story follows Stella, who loses her mom, who she's never been close with, and it is a very strange inheritance. It is a one-way plane ticket and a note that says go to Paris, so that is exactly what Stella does. This is Stella's story, wandering through the streets of Paris, finding her own adventures. Some unexpected things and people come across her path that leads her to all of the rich art and food and books that Paris has to offer. I lived in Paris for a month in October. I absolutely fell in love with the city. This book does such an amazing job representing how beautiful and culturally rich the city is. If you want to read a unique and profound story of a woman finding herself in Paris, this is for you guys. It was amazing. Next book I read was Daily Habits of Tea and Joy by Zakiya Rose Bell. This is a guide of finding everyday joy through tea, mindfulness, and gratitude. This book is sponsored. It couldn't be more perfect for me. I adored it so much. Also, I'm obsessed with tea. I drink tea at least 3 times a day, so I felt like this was my holy grail of a book. I love this book's message. It inspires being intentional every single day, finding the joy in different little things throughout the day that are ultimately what lead to a very fulfilling and meaningful life, as I genuinely do believe that finding the beauty in the little things are what make life so precious. This story is guided by her love of tea. Honestly, such a joyous read. I think it inspired such mindful living and personal development, and I couldn't recommend it more. Also, I have an extensive tea mug collection, so if you guys ever want to see it, let me know and I will show it to you guys. Next, I read Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yon and loved it. This is a romance book, but it is so much more than that. I was not expecting to be bawling my eyes out at the end of this, but that is exactly what happened. This follows a girl named Evie who does not believe in love anymore. She has this ability where she is able to see when a couple kisses, how the romance began and then how it will end. As she tries to figure out how she is able to see the past and the future, she comes across a dance studio and she starts learning ballroom with this boy named X. He is the opposite of her. He's very adventurous, very passionate, so he convinces her to enter a ballroom dancing competition with him. I am also a dancer myself and do partner dancing. Just felt very connected to the story and it did not disappoint. The next book is The 100-Man Plan by Misty O'Hara. I am so excited about this book. I fell in love with this book. This is one of the funniest books I think I've ever read in my life. This is sponsored. I am so happy to tell you guys about this book because I feel like this is a hidden gem. This follows a story of a woman who leaves her marriage of 10 years because one, he is absolutely awful, and two, he cheats on her and she finds out, so she leaves. He blames her for being the reason that he cheated on her, saying that she's prudish and she's not fun because he is the only partner she's ever been with. So she leaves him and she sets a plan to sleep with 100 men. So each chapter in this is dedicated to each of the men, and when I tell you guys, I have never laughed more in my life. Like, I genuinely feel like this book is genius. This book is so funny, but it is so much more than that. It's also a book about reclaiming your identity as a woman, exploring what intimacy and fulfillment means to you. I had the best time reading this. I felt all the feelings. I'm also doing a giveaway of this book. I have an extra copy, so comment down below if you guys want to win the giveaway and I will pick a winner in my comments later. Next, I read What Art Does: An Unfinished Theory by Brian Bett. I'd been wanting to read this one for a while and finally got to it. This theory explores how art is made by all of us on the daily, even if we aren't aware of it. It's about how art is a name that we give to a certain type of experience, but just because we don't call it art, it doesn't mean that it isn't. This book will really open your eyes to the things that we do in our daily life that we wouldn't typically consider art, or like we're creating art. It was such a cool perspective that I really loved, and it had super cool illustrations in it, and I loved it. Next book I read was Friendship and Other Essays by Ralph Emerson. This is his collection of essays that is arguing that people can gain a life's worth of knowledge just by appreciating their friends and the world around them. He talks about the best that humanity has to offer, like friendship and love and companionship. I have always thought that friendship and platonic love is the most important thing in life, especially in my life, and so I loved learning more about this perspective. Okay, next book I read was Within My Head She Lives by Jared Sayers. story was so beautiful and touching, but so sad at the same time. It follows John, who is one of the main characters who loses his wife, so he's a grieving husband. It follows their daughter Izzy, who has just lost their mom. So John and Izzy are grieving. They move to have a fresh start, and so they move into this new house, and Izzy discovers a journal that is full of secrets. This is a story about a family that's navigating and grieving through this loss, with some supernatural things happening which kind of blur the reality of things. My heart ached for the characters, but it was also so beautifully written, and I felt like I had so much hope. The story is about grieving and loss, but it is also a beautiful story of hope and the strength of family, and I just loved it. Definitely an underrated must read. Okay, next book I read is The Austen Affair by Madeline Bell. Absolutely fell in love with the story. This is an enemies to lovers book about two actors working on a Jane Austen movie. They hate each other, they can't stand each other, and somehow they get transported back in time to Jane Austen's era. They end up navigating the Regency period together, which is hilarious, and they end up getting to know each other more, all while figuring out how to get back home. It was such a great book. This also got me on my reading slump. I love everything Jane Austen related, so I love this book so much. Next book and last is Desire by Haruki Murakami. This was a very unique read. 5 different stories in here that all talk about different forms of desire, all of them representing different forms of lust and infatuation. I really enjoyed his writing, and it was like a small little perfect read, so it was like the perfect way to end up and wrap up my December month. Anyways, those are all of the books that I read in December. I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you guys for listening and supporting and watching. I love you guys so much. You guys were my favorite part of this year, and I will see you guys in the next video.